Hey guys, back with another episode of What's in the Shop. It's been a while since I've done these. I kind of was sitting around last night thinking of some stuff I wanted to share that I haven't really got around to yet. And some stuff that I forgot to get around to. So here goes. First up is my Obi Wan Kenobi. This figure's been with me since I was a kid. This is probably the first Star Wars figure I ever got. This is my original Obi Wan Kenobi from the late 70s Kenner line. I'll tell you that the cape and the lightsaber are reproduction. I found those on eBay. I was messing around with my Star Wars figures the other day, and I noticed Obi Wan was in there, and I thought, I wonder if someone makes reproduction gear for these. Sure enough, eBay, man. Less than $8. Got this cape and lightsaber. This guy's riding again, riding high. The wise old wizard's back in my collection, so I think I'll just display them with the rest of my Obi Wan figures. I have a couple sideshow Obi Wans and some other 6-inch scale Black Series Obi Wans. I'll probably put them all together, make a nice Obi Wan display. But this guy means a lot to me, you know. I forgot all about him, actually. I tell you, he means a lot to me, and I didn't even notice that I still had him until I pulled him out of a Darth Vader case the other day, so I guess I just told you a bunch of BS. But either way, I'm glad to have him back going. Next up, if you saw my video from a few days ago about Kathy from Quartermaster Customs, I apologize, Kathy, that I forgot to display one of the coolest things you made me. I had an old Mammoth brand raincoat that I did a ton of mountain climbing and hiking in Colorado with. Finally wore out on me a few years ago, and I took a seam ripper and took it all apart, and I sent the fabric to Kathy and had her make me a hurricane spotter outfit. Now, Cotswold has several of these that are really cool colors, but I have my own unique one made out of actual rainproof fabric. So it just fits over all my G.I. Joe's clothes. And it's pretty cool. It's unique. It's a one-off. I don't know if anybody else that has something like this, but shout out to Kathy at Quartermaster Customs. I will tell you this, and I don't think I mentioned this in the last video with her. If you get a hold of her and send her fabric, she'll totally work with you to do whatever you want. I mean, I sent her this stuff, and she wasn't sure it would work, but she made it work. And, you know, I just threw an Adventure Team logo on it, and this is one of the cooler things in my collection right now. Next up is Ideal's Max Robo Force. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with these, but there was a 1980s toy line. They look a lot like Daleks. You used to be able to find them all the time in Goodwills and antique stores for nothing. And I had several of this one here. And I decided to make a Mars bot. And what I did was I just took this guy apart, painted him the Mars colors. I got a couple decals from Mark, Patches of Pride. I made the chest plate myself, painted him, reassembled him, and now he is an attack bot for my Mars villains. So the Man of Evil has, I believe I made 2 of these. He's got these cool Mars bots, as I call them. So this is a little cool custom project I did about 5 years ago. I just was bored one day and I thought, man, I need to make a henchman aide, like an astromech droid for my bad guys. So I came up with this idea. It's pretty cool. It's unique, it's goofy, which is a lot like the Adventure Team and how I'd imagine their villains would be. So this Mars bot is a fun project. They make a ton of different ones of these. These are actually pretty collectible now. I think a lot of people kind of got on this tip and started buying these robots up. They're really neat. Actually, if you go through and look at the history of this line by Ideal, they're really cool. And I wouldn't mind having all of them to give to my son, but I'm not going to waste my time on them though, because I think as more people start to discover this line, the prices of them start to go up. So next is my vintage recoilless rifle. I've had this for years now, and it wasn't complete until I bought a bunch of junk G.I. Joe parts and found this wheel, which is missing 99.9999999% of the time. I just noticed it in the lot, so I went ahead and bought it so I could complete this thing. And coincidentally, it came with shells as well. So my 5-star Jeep now is absolutely complete, and I'll do a video of it one of these days. So I'm pretty excited about it. I know my 5-star Jeep, I got to do some wiring on it because the searchlight doesn't work for some reason. And I need to go through and maybe clean off some leads or whatnot. Let me get this big dog out of the way so we can move on to this next item. Some of you might be familiar with this next item, some of you might not be. This is an Action Man ATV from the Hasbro Action Man line of the probably late 90s, early 2000s. I was able to get one of these a long time ago from England, actually. Threw an Adventure Team logo on it. I've had this for a while. It's a pretty cool vehicle, actually. It's, you know, cheaply made, but nicely made for a cheap vehicle. I really like this thing, and I'll tell you the reason I'm sharing it today is because I was really disappointed that the G.I. Joe Collector Club and all the cool sets that they never made a vehicle. And I emailed the club several times about this vehicle here. I sent them pictures and I asked all these questions because I know they had access to a lot of the molds at Hasbro, but they finally emailed me back and told me that the reason they couldn't use this is because they didn't have access to these Action Man molds, which I thought was a big shame, because I think the Collector Club could have got a hold of this mold. They could have made a really cool Adventure Team vehicle for all the G.I. Joe Adventure Team Collector Club exclusives that they did. I mean, this would have been a simple thing to do, really. It just had to change a few of the items, like the Action Man logo. That would just been a tooling issue, and then the tires have Action Man on them. But you know, the club would have charged probably $250 for something like this, which seems absolutely ludicrous, considering that this is really simple. But I understand when you go through the manufacturing process, you know, there's a lot of things that we don't consider when it's passed on to the consumer, because you're not going to be making a ton of them. But I like this vehicle a lot, and I just really wish that there would have been a Hasbro version for G.I. Joe and a different color scheme that we could have had for the Adventure Team. And it's a shame that that never came to fruition. And it's too bad that we can't acquire the molds for this, and somebody like Cotswold or whatever could produce it. It would be expensive, but I would definitely commit to buying one if somebody did something similar to this. Like I said, if you compare it to the G.I. Joe ATV from the 1970s, there's no comparison. I mean, it's just a better built vehicle. But this is a pretty simple, neat design, and I'm glad I have this. I've toyed with selling this several times on eBay. I don't think I'm going to. My son actually plays with it. He's only 18 months old, and he likes to roll it around. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, I've used it in a few photo shoots, but I wanted to share this. You can still find these. They're probably a little more expensive than they used to be. I think mine shipped from England was like $40, and that was back in 2004, I think. So who knows what they'd be now. It might be more or less. I don't know. But this is the Action Man ATV, and it's just it's a pretty cool vehicle. I wanted to share that. Here's a close-up of the cockpit. You know, just neat. Just neat. It's a darn shame we couldn't get that. Last up, this is something that I wanted to share with everybody. It's a Guyper Man figure with a vintage G.I. Joe head on it. Now, Cotswold sold a ton of these, and they've sold them with heads, naked, without heads, clothed. They have a lot of different Guyper Man products, but I bought this guy. It was just this basic body. He has the blue trunks, like the old G.I. Joe muscle body. This is a way better made figure, though. I got mine headless through a classic collection head on. My son, my 18-month-old son, plays with this. This is his G.I. Joe. And the reason I wanted to share this is this thing is sturdy as heck. It survived an 18-month-old kid beating the heck out of it. Throw it in the bathtub, throwing it, eating it, chewing it. The only issue I have is this arm came off, but it popped back in place. I mean, he chews on the Kung Fu grip hands. He slings this dude around, carries him, sleeps with him. This is a sturdy body. And the reason I wanted to share that today for what's in the shop is that I don't think another G.I. Joe style body would have survived, other than maybe a new classic collection body, would have survived the abuse that this guy's been through. Yeah, I reflocked the head. As you can see, he's gnawed a little bit of that off, but yeah, these Guyperman bodies are legit, man. If you guys wanted to add one to your collection, it's definitely, it's got some survival built into it. There's no doubt about that. So anyways, guys, this is what's in the shop. That's what's going on right now. Just a simple little one today. So make sure you hit like and subscribe on my page. Check out my other videos. And I look forward to hearing any comments from you guys. Share my page on Facebook. I do have an Instagram page called Skunkworks. You can find me. I do post G.I. Joe stuff to that, as well as other things. So I hope everybody's staying safe out there, and cheers.